begins with a spark of imagination, a flash of insight that demolishes yesterday's limitations and inspires technologies to create new worlds. I'm Ridley Scott. These are the prophets of science fiction.
Geneva, Switzerland, 1816. In what is now known as the Haunted Summer, a circle of friends spend their nights reading old ghost stories aloud. Among them are two of the world's great romantic poets, Lord Byron and Percy Bysshe Shelley. But perhaps the most significant of the group is an 18-year-old woman named Mary, soon to become Shelley's wife. Scenes appear before him from his novel in progress. Futuristic images of world destruction. The War of the Worlds.
Helicopters aren't supposed to fly near power lines, and men aren't supposed to touch live wires. But these guys do it all day long. This is high risk. Someone needs to get up close and personal with 345,000 volts. These are the guys.
I'll pick it up all at once, just one unit? Yeah. All right.
An elite team of pilot and linemen are called in to look for damage and make critical repairs without ever turning the power off. It's called barehanding, a technique that makes the lineman, the chopper, and the pilot all part of the electrical circuit. That means 345,000 volts are running through both man and machine. Live line maintenance is fast, efficient, and potentially deadly.
You can't hold on to nothing. For example, let's say it's a fairly baggy wire loose. If you sit there and hold on to it as he's going down and you don't realize it, and you let go of it, what's gonna happen? What's above you? Your rotor blades. So if you let go of it and you got it held down under tension, where's it gonna go? Straight up, and it could be a disaster.
Let's rack rewind and reset the scene. Cheryl Crane is 14 years old and has possession of a sharp knife.
Suddenly the door flies open, and I'm standing there. John is coming toward me. I think he's going to strike with his hand, and we literally walked into each other. I took a step forward, and he kept coming right into me, and the knife went right into him.
The blade punctures the abdomen and nicks the aorta.
Everything just froze. That's when these hangers dropped. And he said, "My God, Cheryl, what have you done?"
Tick, tick, tick. Johnny's morte, muerto, done in and dead within minutes.
Bobby Joe was laying on her back in the middle of the room with blood scattered all over the wooden floor, and her stomach was exposed.
Then, a horrifying discovery.
I told the paramedic, her mother's here. Her mother says that she's 8 months pregnant. And the paramedic says, "Ben, there's no baby here. Here's the umbilical cord. It's been cut. You're gonna have to look for a baby."
The evidence suggests Bobby Joe had regained consciousness sometime during the attack.
It takes at least 4 minutes to kill somebody by strangulation. So Bobby Joe Stinnett's not dead. She's out. The murderer then begins to cut open Bobby Joe's, Stinette's, stomach with a paring knife.
At that point, the ligature loosened, blood flow resumed, and Bobby Joe woke up.
There's obviously a horrific struggle. There were 2 ligature marks on Bobby Joe's neck, which we all concluded, and later on, the pathologist concluded that there would have been really 2 strangulations.
Stow your gear, take a knee, and listen up! It's time for mail call! I hooked up with Craig Michelson, curator of the American Society of Military History Museum, and he said he was going to teach me how to drive this tank. Let's get my coveralls on, then go. Just kind of put this piece of machinery on like a pair of pantyhose, don't you?
Well, I don't wear pantyhose, but I guess so.
The Stewart gets its zip from 2 Cadillac V8 engines. It also has a handy automatic transmission. And best of all, it has dual driving controls. A set for Craig and a set for me, which makes this a perfect tank for driver's ed. Weighing in at just under 15 tons, the M5 might look puny. But when it came out back in 1942, this tank was state-of-the-art.
For David Baldacci, the revelation of a secret presidential affair makes the mystery that much richer.
In this case, there really are 2 complete different storylines. And if I'd written a novel where the police knew nothing about all the most important elements of the case, people would write me and say, that could never happen. And, you know, if I do that and they do write me, I'm going to send them a copy of the Mary Meyer case and say, yes, in fact, it can happen.
For best-selling author Harlan Coben, the story is as gripping as any of his fiction.
When I write a book, my goal is I ask myself on every page, every paragraph, every sentence, every word, is this compelling? Is this gripping? Is this moving the story forward? My job is to keep you up all night and have you curse me in the morning because you had to know what was going to happen to these characters.
3 days after Louise Ellis's disappearance, volunteers continue their round-the-clock search in the rural countryside of the Gatineau. Novelist and forensic anthropologist Kathy Reichs, who would later work on the case, follows the investigation on the news.
As a scientist, I'm largely restricted to working in the lab. I go to crime scenes, I help recover human remains and bring them back to the lab. So it was very frustrating for me not to be able to get out there. The thing about Louise Ellis is she did not live a high-risk lifestyle. So what happened to her? How did she go off to visit a friend and then disappear?
For over 600 years, it survived as one of history's most complex and enduring empires. At its height, it stretched from Europe through the Middle East to the north coast of Africa, controlling the sacred cities of Mecca, Medina, and Jerusalem. Its swift spread was fueled by the fervor of Islamic holy warriors, yet it stands today as a model of religious tolerance. Its war machine was known for the speed and power of its attacks. Yet it is an empire also remembered for its cultivation of art and architecture, and its commitment to law. This is the story of a vast and mysterious kingdom, a kingdom where sultans and pashas schemed and a harem of concubines produced heirs for the throne. It is an empire that continues to shape our world today. This is the Ottoman Empire.